Marcus wiped the grease from his hands and stared at the massive wreck in front of him. The ship sat alone in the darkest corner of the junkyard, covered in rust and space dust. It looked dead. Most people would walk right past it without a second glance. But Marcus was not most people. He had been working at Dregg's 9 orbital junkyard for 3 years now. Every day, alien ships came to dump their old technology. Every day, Marcus sorted through the garbage, pulling out parts that could still be sold. It was hard work and the pay was terrible. His boss, a large purple alien named Korthax, treated humans like they were stupid. To Korthax, humans were just cheap labor. Marcus climbed up the side of the old ship, his boots clanging on the metal hull. The name on the side was written in Vexorian symbols. He could not read them, but he recognized the design. This was a Striker-class warship, probably 300 years old. Ancient by galactic standards. "Hey human." Korthax's voice boomed across the junkyard. "Stop wasting time on that piece of trash. We are cutting it up tomorrow for scrap metal." Marcus jumped down and walked over to his boss. 2 other Quellan workers stood beside Korthax, their forearms crossed in amusement. "Why scrap it?" Marcus asked. "The frame looks solid." Korthax laughed, a wet gurgling sound. "Solid? That ship is older than your entire species space program. The power core is dead. The weapons do not work with modern systems. The navigation is so outdated it cannot even connect to the jump gates. It is worthless." "Then let me have it," Marcus said. The laughter stopped. Korthax stared at him with all 3 eyes. "What?" "Let me have the ship. Take it out of my wages. 6 months should cover it, right? You said it is worthless anyway." One of the other Quellans spoke up. "The human has finally lost his mind. What are you going to do with a dead warship, Marcus?" "Use it as a house." Marcus shrugged. "Maybe I can fix it." This brought more laughter. Korthax shook his massive head. "Fix it? You barely know how to repair a cargo loader. This is Vexorian military technology. It would take a master engineer decades to restore it, and even then, it would still be obsolete junk." "So you have nothing to lose," Marcus said calmly. 6 months' wages for a ship you are just going to melt down anyway." Korthax thought about this. His species was known for being greedy and Marcus knew it. 6 months of human labor was valuable. The ship was not. "Fine," Korthax said finally. "Take your worthless prize. But you still work your regular hours. You fix that thing on your own time. And when you fail, you still owe me 6 months of work. Deal?" "Deal." That night, Marcus stood inside the ship for the first time. It was dark and cold. The air smelled like old metal and something chemical he could not identify. He turned on his flashlight and walked through the corridors. Everything was dead. No lights. No power. No sound except his own footsteps echoing off the walls. Most people would feel afraid in a place like this. Marcus felt excited. He found the engine room and knelt beside the power core. It was massive, covered in alien writing and symbols. He did not understand the technology, but he understood machines. All machines had the same basic principles. They needed power, fuel, and proper connections. His flashlight beam caught something interesting. The Vexorians had built this ship to last forever. The parts were modular, designed to be replaced and upgraded. It was old, yes, but it was also built by a species that valued durability over everything else. Marcus smiled in the darkness. Everyone thought he was crazy. Maybe he was. But he had learned something important during his 3 years in the junkyard. Aliens threw away things too quickly. They always wanted newer, faster, better. They forgot that old things could still work if someone took the time to understand them. "All right, old friend," Marcus whispered to the ship. "Let us see what you can really do." Marcus spent every free hour inside the old ship. After his 12-hour shifts at the junkyard, he would climb into the vessel and work until he could barely keep his eyes open. The first week was just cleaning and mapping. He needed to understand what he had before he could fix anything. The problems were worse than he expected. The power core was not just weak, it was damaged. Coolant lines had frozen and cracked. The weapon systems used an energy type that did not exist anymore. The hull had tiny holes in 3 different sections. The AI computer was completely corrupted, showing only error messages in a language he could not read. On the 8th night, Marcus sat on the floor of the engine room and put his head in his hands. Maybe Korthax was right. Maybe this was impossible. "You are doing it wrong." Marcus jumped to his feet. A young Quellan stood in the doorway. She was smaller than Korthax, with bright green skin instead of purple. Her 4 arms carried various tools and scanning devices. "Who are you?" Marcus asked. "My name is Zixtera. I work for Korthax. He sent me to watch you and report back." She walked closer, her three eyes examining the power core. He wants to know if you are stealing parts from the junkyard. I am not stealing anything, Marcus said defensively. I know. I have been watching you for 3 days. Zixtera knelt beside the power core. You are trying to repair the antimatter chamber using standard reconnection protocols. But Vexorian systems do not work that way. You need to reverse the polarity first. Marcus stared at her. Why are you telling me this? Because I am curious. She pulled out a scanning device and ran it over the core. Korthax thinks you are stupid. All the Quellans do. They think humans are primitive. But I have been watching you work and you do things differently. Strange things. Things that should not work but somehow do. Over the next 3 weeks, Zixtera came every night. At first, she just watched and occasionally gave advice. Then she started helping. She understood alien technology better than Marcus, but Marcus understood improvisation better than her. The power core was their first major problem. It needed a specific type of fuel cell that nobody made anymore. Marcus stared at it for hours, thinking. Then he remembered something from Earth. Old combustion engines. They burned fuel to create energy. It was primitive, but it worked. What if we do not fix the power core the right way? Marcus said one night. What if we build a secondary system? Use the old core for basic power, but add something new for the heavy work. That is insane, Zixtera said. You cannot mix technologies like that. Why not? She opened her mouth to answer, then stopped. I do not know. We just do not do it. They spent 5 days building a hybrid system. Marcus salvaged 6 different fuel cells from the junkyard, all from different species. He connected them in series, using human electrical principles. It looked ugly and chaotic, but when they powered it up, the lights in the ship flickered on for the first time in 300 years. Zixtera stared in disbelief. That should not work. But it does, Marcus said, grinning. They moved to the next problem. The weapon systems. Then the shields. Then the hull plating. Each time, Marcus found solutions that made Zixtera's engineering education scream in protest. He used parts from 12 different alien species. He rebuilt the AI using human coding logic, which was simpler but more flexible than Galactic Standard. One night, Zixtera asked him a question. Why do humans do this? Take broken things and make them work again? Marcus thought about it. Because on Earth we did not have much. We had to make things last. We learned to fix what we had instead of throwing it away. Old does not mean useless. It just means different. The AI computer suddenly blinked to life. Words appeared on the screen in broken English. System. Reboot. Complete. Designation. Unknown. Requesting. Name. Marcus smiled. Revenant. Your name is Revenant. Acknowledged. Hello. Marcus. Marcus and Zixtera were testing the engine systems when Korthax appeared at the ship's entrance. His purple face was darker than usual, which meant he was angry. What is this? Korthax shouted, stomping into the ship. His heavy feet made the floor shake. You actually got this piece of junk working? Marcus stood up slowly. I told you I would fix it. You told me many things, human. You did not tell me you were stealing my engineer. Korthax pointed at Zixtera with 2 of his 4 arms. She should be working on paying contracts, not wasting time on your fantasy project. I help him on my own time, Zixtera said quietly. Your own time belongs to me. I own your contract. Korthax turned back to Marcus. And this ship belongs to me too. You have not finished paying for it yet. 4 months left on our deal. Marcus felt his stomach drop. We had an agreement. Yes, and the agreement was you would fail. I never expected you to actually repair anything. Korthax walked around the engine room, his 3 eyes examining everything. This ship is worth something now. Not much, but something. I want it back. Or you pay me 50,000 credits immediately. 50,000 credits was more money than Marcus would make in 5 years. I do not have that kind of money. Then the ship is mine. Korthax smiled, showing his sharp teeth. I will sell it to a collector. Ancient Vexorian warship, actually functional. I will make good profit. Marcus felt anger burning in his chest. He had worked for 3 months on this ship. Every night, every spare moment. Now Korthax would just take it and sell it. There is another way, Zixtera said suddenly. Both of them looked at her. The scrap run is in 2 weeks. Korthax's eyes widened. No. Absolutely not. What is the scrap run? Marcus asked. Zixtera explained quickly. Once a year the junkyard holds a race. Ships fly through the Kelter asteroid field to an old station and back. Very dangerous. The winner gets full salvage rights to Sector 7. Very valuable. But also, by tradition, any ship that completes the run, the pilot owns it completely. No debts. Nobody flies the scrap run in an old ship, Korthax said. Modern racing vessels compete. Fast ships with good shields and navigation systems. This ancient thing would be destroyed in the first kilometer. Then you have nothing to worry about, Marcus said. If I fail, I pay you triple the debt. If I complete the run, the ship is mine free and clear. Korthax thought about this. Triple the debt would be 150,000 credits. Even if Marcus died in the race, Korthax could claim his Earth citizenship bonds. You would make profit either way. Deal? Korthax said. But when you crash and burn, remember it was your choice. The next 2 weeks were chaos. Marcus and Zixtera worked day and night. They reinforced the hull plating. They calibrated the hybrid engine for maximum speed. They taught Revenant how to calculate navigation through asteroid fields. This is crazy, Zixtera said on the last night before the race. The scrap run kills pilots every year. Even in modern ships. Do you think we can make it? Marcus asked. She was quiet for a moment. I think we have something they do not expect. They will underestimate us. That might be enough. Race day came. 15 ships gathered at the starting line. Sleek modern vessels with shining hulls and powerful engines. And then Revenant, covered in mismatched plating, belching smoke from its hybrid engine, looking like it might fall apart. The other pilots laughed when they saw it. One of them, a Vexian, shouted across the comm channel. Did someone bring their grandfather's coffin to race? Marcus ignored them. He strapped into the pilot's seat. Zixtera sat at the engineering station. Revenant's AI hummed to life. Ready, Marcus? Revenant asked. Ready. The countdown began. 10 seconds. 9. 8. Marcus gripped the controls and smiled. The starting signal flashed green. 15 ships launched forward into space. The modern racing vessels accelerated smoothly, their engines humming with power. Revenant lurched forward with a cough and a rattle. Come on, Marcus muttered, fighting with the controls. The hybrid engine was not warming up properly. The ship shook and vibrated as they entered the asteroid field. Within minutes, the other ships were far ahead. Marcus could see their glowing engine trails disappearing into the distance. The sleek vessels weaved through the asteroids with computer-perfect precision. We are falling behind, Zixtera said, watching her instruments. I know, Marcus said through gritted teeth. He pushed the throttle harder. The engine responded with a loud bang, then suddenly smoothed out. The hybrid system finally reached operating temperature. Revenant shot forward, pressing them back into their seats. That is better, Revenant's AI said cheerfully. System stabilizing. They flew deeper into the asteroid field. Marcus had to manually dodge rocks that came at them from all directions. Modern ships had automatic navigation, but Revenant's systems were too old for that. Everything was manual. His hands moved constantly on the controls. Halfway through the field, something appeared on their sensors. Ships. Big ones. Not racers. Pirates, Zixtera said, her voice tight with fear. 6 pirate vessels dropped from behind a large asteroid. They opened fire immediately. Blue energy beams lit up the space around them. Marcus saw 3 racing ships ahead suddenly go dark, their systems failing. EMP weapons. Zixtera shouted. They are disabling the modern ships. The pirates fired again. The electromagnetic pulse wave washed over Revenant. Marcus braced himself, waiting for everything to shut down. Nothing happened. The lights stayed on. The engine kept running. All systems remained active. Why are we still working? Marcus asked. The old systems. Zixtera realized. Vexorian technology from 300 years ago. The EMP is designed for modern ships. It does not affect ancient circuits. Revenant's AI spoke urgently. Marcus, the pirates are targeting the disabled ships. 2 vessels are in immediate danger. The racing ship Aurora and the merchant vessel Lucky Star are both dead in space. Marcus made a decision. He turned Revenant toward the pirates instead of continuing the race. What are you doing? Zixtera asked. We cannot leave them to die. The pirates had not noticed Revenant yet. They were focused on boarding the disabled ships. Marcus came in fast, using a large asteroid for cover. When he emerged, he was right behind the pirate command ship. Revenant, target their engines, Marcus said. Weapons ready, the AI replied. The ancient Vexorian cannons fired. They were old technology, but old technology meant solid projectile weapons instead of energy. The pirates' shields were designed to stop lasers, not physical ammunition. The shots punched through their defenses and tore into their engine. The pirate command ship spun out of control. The other pirate vessels turned to face this new threat. "They see us now," Zixtera said unnecessarily. 5 pirate ships against 1 ancient warship. The pirates opened fire. Energy beams and missiles filled the space around Revenant. But the hybrid shielding Marcus had built held. When one system failed, another compensated. The patchwork design that looked so ugly actually made the ship incredibly resilient. Marcus flew like he was possessed. He twisted and turned through the asteroids using the rocks as cover. The pirates had faster ships, but Revenant was smaller and more maneuverable. The modifications Marcus made gave it a turning radius no modern ship could match. "Their targeting systems cannot lock onto us," Revenant reported. "Our mixed technology signature confuses their computers." Marcus destroyed 2 more pirate ships. The remaining 3 broke formation and fled. Marcus flew Revenant back to the disabled racing ships. The Aurora and Lucky Star floated helplessly in space, their systems completely dead from the EMP blast. "Can we tow them?" Marcus asked. Zixtera checked the systems. "Yes, but it will slow us down. We will never win the race. I do not care about winning anymore. We need to get them to safety." They attached towing cables to both ships and began the slow journey back through the asteroid field. The hybrid engine strained under the extra weight. The return trip took 3 times longer than it should have. When they finally emerged from the asteroid field, the other racing ships were already at the finish line. Marcus had lost. He pulled the disabled ships to the station and released them. But something strange was happening. Ships were gathering. Not just the racers but hundreds of other vessels. Station workers, cargo haulers, passenger ships. They all floated near the finish line, waiting. Marcus docked Revenant at the station. When he opened the hatch, a massive crowd was waiting. They erupted in cheers. Korthax pushed through the crowd, his purple face unreadable. Marcus prepared himself for the worst. He had lost the race. Now he would owe triple the debt. "You saved 7 lives today," Korthax said loudly so everyone could hear. "The Aurora crew, the Lucky Star crew, and the pilot of the Swift Wind who was also recovered. You drove off the pirates. You protected the scrap run." "But I lost the race," Marcus said. "You completed the run," Korthax corrected. "The rules say any ship that completes the run, the pilot owns it. You completed it." Slowly, "Yes. But you completed it." He held out one of his 4 hands. "The ship is yours, Marcus Chin. Free and clear. No debt." The crowd cheered louder. Marcus shook Korthax's hand, barely believing what was happening. Over the next few days, the story spread throughout the station and beyond. The human mechanic who took a 300-year-old warship and defeated modern pirates. The footage from Revenant's cameras was shared on every communication network. Messages started arriving. The Galactic Defense Force wanted to study his hybrid systems. A museum offered to buy Revenant for a fortune. 3 different shipping companies wanted to hire him. Marcus refused them all. Instead, he and Zixtera opened their own business. They called it Revenant Reclamation. Their specialty was restoring ships that other species considered worthless. Word spread quickly. Humans had a gift for seeing potential in broken things. Other human mechanics across the galaxy started doing the same thing. They bought old ships, ancient stations, obsolete equipment. Things the galaxy had thrown away. And they made them work again. Within a year there was a saying in the outer sectors: "If you want something new, buy Galactic. If you want something that lasts, hire a human." Marcus stood on the bridge of Revenant 6 months after the race. They had just finished restoring their 5th ship. The small fleet floated outside the viewport, each vessel a unique mixture of old and new technology. Zixtera entered the bridge carrying a data pad. "We have a new contract request. Someone wants us to look at an entire abandoned mining station. They say it is too old to save." Marcus smiled. "Too old to save? I have heard that before. Should we take the job?" Zixtera asked. Marcus looked at his ship, at the patchwork hull and mismatched systems. At the vessel everyone said was worthless. The vessel that had saved lives and started a revolution in how people thought about technology. "Revenant," Marcus said. "Plot a course to the mining station." "Course plotted, Marcus," the AI responded warmly. "Ready when you are." "One species junk is a human's opportunity," Marcus said, repeating the phrase that had become their company motto. He sat in the captain's chair and engaged the engines. Behind him, the small fleet of restored ships followed. Together, they headed toward the abandoned station. Toward another impossible task. toward another chance to prove that nothing is ever truly obsolete.